Now, President Trump is still a little salty that he never got a Nobel Prize. While appearing at the UN, Trump said this.
I think I'll get a Nobel Prize for a lot of things.
Mr. President.
I
Mr.
think I'm
President.
going to get a Nobel Prize for a lot of things if they gave it out fairly, which they don't. If they gave it
Mr.
out,
President.
they gave one to Obama immediately upon his ascent to the presidency, and he had no idea why he got it. And you know what? That was the only thing I agreed with him on.
So, yeah, that's President Trump. Again, a little salty. He didn't get a Nobel Prize. But see, here's the thing. In order to get a Nobel Prize, which, by the way, Greta Thunberg, it has been announced that she has been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. Very interesting, especially considering how the UN and a lot of these climate leaders were very dismissive of her. And look, her speech yesterday, and I showed you the context. Her speech was her saying, "You guys suck. You promised all this stuff in order to fight climate change, and you've done absolutely nothing. And so we're watching you, and if you fail, I mean, we're going to let you have it." And so their response to it is, Nobel Peace Prize. Let's nominate her. Do something about the climate. That's the whole point. But anyway, back to Donald Trump. You actually kind of have to do something to get nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, especially to win it. So now that something would generally be fairly positive. So now if you want to make an argument, and I've seen this, that Barack Obama no longer deserves the Peace Prize, or that it doesn't really mean a whole lot because of the wars in Yemen, Afghanistan, Libya, drone strikes, signature strikes, etc. Okay, that's a fair conversation that we can have. And I would generally agree with you. But again, the whole purpose is to honor people that have done something important, right? And generally positive for the world. So what did Donald Trump do? Well, that's an interesting question. You could make an argument that under Donald Trump, we have avoided war. Okay, like war with Iran and North Korea. And you could point to the fact that, well, look, there's an airstrike that is going to strike Iran. It's going to happen. And Donald Trump stopped it 10 minutes before it was supposed to happen. That he was previously talked into. And when you get into the details, it actually does not make a great case for President Trump being the harbinger of peace, right? He got talked into launching an airstrike, and then 10 minutes before it was supposed to happen, he's like, oh, you know what? Turns out might not be a good idea. And he was probably looking at his base, but yeah, whatever. I don't think that really deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, even though I think he should get maybe a tiny little bit of credit for not launching us into a disastrous war and actually having the correct instincts on that. But you take that credit away when you realize as well that what Donald Trump had done had actually led up to that point. And so, the reason that tensions are so high with Iran are from actions that President Trump had previously taken in the first place. And the reason I say that is because we had a deal with Iran. It was a fairly good deal. It was actually a great deal. The whole world had signed on to that. And then what happened? Donald Trump gets elected and he rips it up. He violates the deal. So, no, I guess he doesn't get any credit because it's his fault. We're in this mess in the first place, and there's so much tension. And then, of course, there's backing Saudi Arabia and their attacks on Yemen, their genocide in Yemen. It's killed thousands of people. You have people that are starving. You've got cholera that's rampant. And yet Donald Trump has vetoed congressional attempts to stop selling Saudi Arabia American weapons. So who deserves a Nobel Peace Prize? Not Donald Trump. If you believe he does, you are delusional. And besides, the only reason that he actually wants it and that he's mad about not having it is because, well, look, he's already mentioned the reason. That they gave one to Obama. I want one too. Well, again, you actually have to do something. But no, he says, how unfair that the black guy gets one and I don't get one. And so it's rigged. Rigged. We know black people are violent. They don't deserve peace prizes. Why is he getting a peace prize? Why did he get one and I didn't? everything comes back to Donald Trump being a victim. And Obama, of course, not being deserving / white enough. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.